In this video, we are going to see how TradeMap can help you in identifying new markets to penetrate and opportunities for a country or company to diversify its products for export. Again, the easiest way to start with this analysis is by going back to the Home and Search page menu by clicking on the button in the upper left-hand corner of the screen to come back from any other screen. Once you are on the Home and Search page, you only need to choose the product you want to analyze and then click on the Trade Indicators button. In this case, let's analyze the world market for bananas and see if there are options for a banana supplier to diversify its products and markets. First, you have to select the Exports option since we will see which countries are exporting the selected product. Then type the HS4 level code for bananas, which is 0803, in the product box and select the product. Finally, select Trade Indicators. If you do not know the code for the product and decide to type the keywords to find it, we recommend using a comma after typing the keyword to eliminate any other possible results. For example, bananas, comma. This table is called List of Exporters for the selected product in 2018 for the product 0803 bananas, including plantains, fresh or dried. Here you can see which countries the leading exporters of bananas in the world are. You can identify Ecuador as the world leader, followed by the Philippines, Guatemala, Costa Rica, and so on. For the purposes of this example, let's choose Colombia to analyze it and find out to which markets it could expand its exports and in which product segments it could expand its supply. It is important to first have a look at the most important figures. For example, Colombia exported a total value of $866 million, which corresponds to a share of 6.4% in world's exports, and a quantity of 1.8 million tons of bananas in 2018. The unit value paid for Colombian bananas is $467 per ton, which is just slightly lower to the one for its top competitor, Ecuador. It experienced an average annual increase in value and quantity exported of 2% over the last 5 years. Thus, we surmise that the unit value of the Colombian banana has not changed on average over the last 5 years. There was a decrease in exported value between the last 2 years of 6%. Comparing these numbers with the global averages of 4%, 23%, and 4% respectively, we can conclude that Colombia has not outperformed the world averages for bananas in general. This analysis shows us there is room for improvement, given that the country is not performing well if we compare it to its top geographical competitors, Ecuador, Guatemala, and Costa Rica. Let us now see how Colombia might expand its exports. To analyze in more detail, let's move to the graphical options to compare Colombia with other countries. Now you are seeing the bar chart which presents the exporters ordered by exported value. In order to compare that value with the growth in value over the last 5 years, choose Annual Growth in Value between 2014 and 2018 as a second trade indicator. Remember to click on Update to refresh the data displayed in the graph. Now the graph shows 2 bars per country, one blue, which states the exported value, and one red, which gives the average annual growth in value over the last 5 years and is represented in an upper axis for better illustration of the chart. We can see that being in the 6th place for exported value, Colombia has small average annual growth rate if we compare to close competitors like the Philippines and Guatemala. It is important to note that most of the countries having large annual growth rates are small exporters. This is significantly noticeable when we see the red bars from Myanmar and Vietnam in the far right of the table. The growth indicator is particularly susceptible to the base upon which growth is measured, so we need to analyze growth and value, or size of exports, in tandem. But now we want to analyze Colombia's supply alone to explore market diversification options for this country. So please click on the bar for Colombia. This bubble graph is entitled Prospects for Market Diversification for a Product Exported by Colombia in 2018, with the product being 0803, bananas, including plantains, fresh or dried. The vertical axis represents the average annual growth in value for the partner country's imports from the world between 2014 and 2018. The horizontal axis represents the share of partner countries in Colombia's exports in 2018. Remember that the explanations of bubbles' size and colors are at the bottom of the page, and that you can place your mouse over any bubble to see any data corresponding to each country. We can see that the leading importer of Colombian bananas is Belgium, buying 24% of Colombia's exports of the product. The blue color of the bubble means that Colombia is gaining market share in Belgium, because Belgian imports from Colombia are growing faster than Belgium's imports from the world. Following Belgium, we see that the United States of America is the second largest importer of Colombian bananas, with a share of 20%. However, it is important to note that the yellow color means that Colombia is losing market share in the United States because American imports from the world are growing faster than the imports from Colombia. The other significant importer is the United Kingdom, accounting for 18% of Colombian banana exports. It comes to our attention that for the United Kingdom, as well as for the three following main importers, Italy, Germany and the Netherlands, Colombia is also losing market share. This graph shows us that there are opportunities in markets that are experiencing faster growth in imports from the world, such as the Netherlands, and some other markets with significant size where Colombia has a small participation, such as the Russian Federation, France and Japan. Again, the blue color indicates that Colombia is already gaining market in Russia and France. We have already looked at the situation for bananas in general for the HS code 0803. Let's now see how this product is segmented and what Colombia's performance for each specific product is. This will help us in analyzing prospects for diversification. Please go to the third combo box at the top of the page in the Other Criteria section and change to the By Product option. Let's choose the first bubble graph in the combo box. It is entitled Size of National Supply and Growth of International Demand for Products Exported by Colombia in 2018. It shows us how banana exports are segmented by product for this country. First, it is important to note that the product code 0803, bananas including plantains, fresh or dried, is broken down into two different HS6 codes. 080310, fresh or dried plantains. 080390, fresh or dried bananas excluding plantains. The vertical axis presents the average annual growth in value of world imports for each product code between 2014 and 2018. And the horizontal axis presents the world market share of Colombia for each product in 2018. The most exported product by Colombia, which is the biggest bubble, is the fresh or dried bananas, excluding plantains. The significant size variation of the bubbles tells us that Colombia mainly exports that product. However, it is interesting to note that Colombia's largest world market share is for the other product code, 080310, fresh or dried plantains, where it accounts for almost 11% of global supply. This graph demonstrates that Colombia should be focusing on having greater presence in the market for the product 080390, bananas fresh or dried excluding plantains, as it is the one with a higher growth in value. Let's take the 080390 code to be analyzed for diversification purposes, because Colombia has lost world market share for this product as its yellow color suggests. Please click on the bubble 080390 to see how diversified the Colombian market for this product is. This bubble graph, entitled Prospect for Market Diversification for a Product Exported by Colombia in 2018, will show us where most of Colombia's exports of the products, bananas, fresh or dried, excluding plantains, are destined. First, for a better perspective, let's increase the number of countries displayed in the graph from 20 to 30, and then click on Update. Then we can see that the only country on the far right-hand part of the graph is Belgium. In the middle of the graph, and similarly to what we saw on the first bubble graph earlier, we find the next group of importer countries: United States, United Kingdom, Italy, Germany, and the Netherlands. It seems that Colombia is targeting most of its exports for this product to only these 6 countries. With the exception of the Netherlands, all of these countries are having small or negative growth rate. For instance, Belgium, Colombia's top partner, has an average annual growth rate of 0%. We might postulate that Colombia's exports of bananas are oriented to Belgium because Belgium represents an entry port for products to Europe. Hence, it is important to analyze further what countries Belgium is exporting to. Belgium could be exporting some of those bananas to a country like France, which is a large importer itself, but one Colombia is not targeting directly. Moreover, 2 of the biggest bubbles in the graph, the Russian Federation and Japan, are markets located furthest to the left and with positive average annual growth rate. This means that Colombia is not targeting enough 2 of the largest importers for the product, bananas, fresh or dried, excluding plantains. Russia has a small share in Colombia's exports, in this case 0.35%. However, its blue color indicates Colombia is already gaining some market share there. Japan has an average annual growth of 2% and only has 0.24% of Colombian exports. The yellow color shows that Japan's import growth from the world is larger than Colombia's export growth to Japan. Therefore, we might suggest that Japan is a market diversification opportunity for Colombia's exports of bananas. Finally, we can see that there are many other countries with significant markets, such as France, Canada, and China, to which Colombia could export more bananas. Furthermore, there is a group of small markets experiencing fast growth, such as Tunisia, that could represent new opportunities for Colombia. As the final part of this analysis, let's see how diversified Japan's imports are. Please click on Japan's bubble. The bubble graph, which is entitled Prospects for Diversification of Suppliers for a Product Imported by Japan in 2018, shows us in a single view that Japan imports of the product 080390, bananas, fresh or dried, excluding plantains, almost completely stem from the Philippines, standing alone at the right-hand side of the graph, with almost 85% of market share. At the other side, Colombia is positioned among the other world suppliers with almost no market share. This tells us that Colombia has an opportunity to expand its production of bananas and look to markets other than Belgium or the United States, for instance Japan, to diversify and increase its opportunities of growth.